Hi everybody, I'm Gregory Collins and I am mad as hell about the lack of gun control in this country. It's incredible the carnage that's happening every day on our streets here in America. You know, from the last 30 days, from the Las Vegas shooting forward 30 days, guess how many people have been shot in this country? Just in that 30-day period, 2,700 people have been shot, 800 have died in 30 days. You compare that to 14 years of war and 1 year in this country just as a civilian. There's more casualties in this country to gunfire every year than there are in our 14-year past war, which is just an astonishing amount of carnage. And you know, it just really pisses me off that gun manufacturers and the NRA and all these gun lobbyists have done nothing to improve the safety of guns, and they keep lobbying for less restrictions, more universal gun control laws where, you know, a person can go to Florida and get a license there and then carry it across the country, carry their weapon across country, across state borders, and basically nobody in that state can have any say of who can be carrying a firearm because this person got their license in Florida. They'll legally be able to transport it across the country, which is just an astonishing lack of responsibility as far as I'm concerned. You know, when you have a lethal weapon like a gun, you have certain responsibilities. There's a lot of gun owners that are responsible, and obviously there's a lot of situations where the guns are used to take lives. And you know, just the gross negligence as far as the gun manufacturers and the NRA to really step in, find ways and solutions to make guns safer for our communities, really tells me that us as citizens, we need to step up and force our voice to be heard. You know, take back our right as Americans, and you know, put our voice in the conversation and say we've had enough. This has gone beyond anything that the Second Amendment was enacted to enable. It's become a weapon. The Second Amendment has become a weapon for the rest of the citizens in this country, and I've had enough. You know, if you're a gun owner and you're thinking that you're keeping your family safe because you have this weapon, it's a false concept. You know, if your wife's at the grocery store, does she have a weapon with her? Is she in church? Does she have a weapon with you? Your kids in school, do they have a weapon with you? Do they have eyes behind their head? No. So the reality is, because there are guns, because we don't have strict enough gun regulation, your family is at risk. And I want to keep my family safe, and that's why I want to implement more gun controls, more regulations, keep hammering, and keep hammering until our streets are safe, our families are safe, until, you know, our first responders don't need to fear for their lives every time they get a call. This is ridiculous. This is not the America that our forefathers foresaw. You know, we have people that are afraid to go out in public places because of the fear of gun violence. You know, you have whole communities that are fearful that their children walking to school are going to be shot and killed. The carnage has just gotten to the point where, you know, I hear about this violence and my soul is just jumping out of my body. I can't stand it anymore, and I just need my voice to be heard. I have so many other friends that are saying the same thing. They feel powerless, and always that word, the NRA, the lobbyists, the money that's involved. Well, you know what? There's more of us than there are of them. We also are Americans. We have a voice. This is our country. This is our safety. This is our well-being. You know, the whole idea of living a life in this country was about prosperity and being able to be safe and have the freedoms to do the things that you want to do without fear. And, you know, the gun lobbyists, the gun manufacturers, they've all had their opportunity to do something about this. They see the same carnage that we see on the streets and have done nothing. They've done nothing for the rest of us. So now their irresponsibility has caused us to step in, have our voice heard, make sure that we're electing politicians that understand what's going on and take action. You know, hold them accountable. remove them for office if they're not able to do their job, which is to keep us safe on our streets, make sure that our families can prosper, and they don't belong in the office. That's just that. It's just that simple. You know, you have a responsibility to all your citizens, and if somebody is being killed because of the lack of proper oversight on a product that's being sold for monetary good to a select individuals, then you need to step in. You need to do your job and make sure the rest of us are safe. The rest of us can feel like we can go out and have a good time. We can go to church. We can go to the club. We can go to a concert. We can just walk down the street. We can take our baby out of their seat at the grocery store without somebody dying on the journey between the car and the grocery store. It's just gotten to the point where it just who in their right mind can say nothing has to be done at this point? Our own Congress goes to do the American pastime of playing baseball. They come under fire. They do nothing. They do nothing. I mean, that tells you that your voice, my voice, needs to force them to act. I'm on my street right now, and basically one Saturday I decided to jump on my bicycle and go for a nice long bike ride, get some exercise in, which I love to do. It's out in the freaking sticks. There's one or two cars every now and then, and it's fairly dangerous because there is no side road for the cyclists or pedestrians. But I figured it was early in the morning. I wasn't going to be in danger of getting hit. Well, lo and behold, a car, the one car that passes me an entire trip, the passenger, as he drives by, he lobs a big gulp at me, and trying to be funny and hit me with this big gulp full of water or juice or whatever was in it. And luckily it missed me, but as he was driving by, I gave him the middle finger as he passed me. And so he gets all the way down to the stop sign, and the passenger gets out with a weapon and just stands behind the car and starts to take aim, just like that, down the road at me, coming straight toward him. And I'm thinking, really? Just like that, I'm not going to come home. My body will be fine on the side of the street, and this 20-something-year-old white guy is just going to drive off, and I'll just be another fatality to gun violence. And maybe they'll find the guy, maybe they won't find the guy. Clearly the guy has enough guts to think that he has that authority over me to just get out, take his weapon out, and take my life. Luckily for me, there was another car that came to the stop sign on the opposite side, saw everything that was going on, and the guy got freaked out, jumped in the car, and they sped off. And luckily I was saved. But I was thinking, who gave him that authority over me? And I got to think about it. That's my politicians. That's my politicians saying that this person is mentally sound, he's going to be a responsible gun owner, he's not going to do something like that. They gave him that license to carry that firearm and to basically put me in a situation where I'm going to lose my life. Or, the way the NRA looks at things and the way the politicians are starting to, solicit this whole, save yourself mentality is, I should have had a gun in in the back of my spandex pants, and I should have just, when I saw he was pointing a weapon at me, I should have just taken it out, pointed it down the road, and took his life. And mentally, I should be free of that reality that I just took another person's life, because legally I had that authority to do that because my life was in jeopardy. And I'm just thinking, what a sad situation that is. That as an adult, that I can make a discerning decision, that I have to make a discerning decision between my life or this other guy's life, and then legally and morally, what are the implications of that because I decided to pack a firearm, or that person was granted a license, and how many times has he done that? How many times has he's driven by somebody else and pointed the gun at them? How many lives has he taken? There's staggering statistics about, the the amount of people that are being murdered and their murderer not being found. Something ridiculous, like in Contra Costa County, it's something like 40% of the homicides. And they actually had to hire a task force to have them come in and help them go through all these unsolved cases. And you just go through the whole country and you see these staggering numbers of people that are being murdered and their murderers still out free. It's time for our voice to be heard and to drown out all of these ridiculous concepts for basically, at the end of the day, for the money of it all. And, if you're a gun owner and you want to do this because you want to, have a gun for the safety of your family, really sit down and have that conversation with your family. And what percentage of the time, in all the situations where we've had all these mass murders and basically situations where just somebody shows up at a party or a gathering and takes 5 or 6 lives. It's staggering the amount of people that are getting in situations where, completely out of their control, completely should be a safe situation, and their life is ended. So basically the idea is I'm creating an art installation, and it's called If I'm Next. So that's the reality. Any one of us can be next. And unless we add our voice to the conversation, we're complicit in that. And so If I'm Next is basically saying, nobody's going to come home to pick up my children or, take out my dog or, feed the horse. I have to make those plans because something ridiculous happened and I'm not coming home. And, the NewsHour had basically bios of people that were killed in the Las Vegas shooting. It's mothers and fathers and children and people who are 20 years old going to college. Their mother's not coming home. Their father is not coming home. These are people that were professionals in the law enforcement field that understood security, were well trained, and their loved one was taken. So the rationale that you're going to keep your family safe with the way that things are is misguided. So basically the art installation, again, is called If I'm Next. And I really love if you could add your voice to the conversation and really conceptualize the thought that you're the next victim of gun violence. Tell your congressperson, that you wanted to come home, that you had plans, you wanted to see your children graduate, you wanted to go on that vacation, you wanted to continue your life, you had planned it, and because of this irresponsible act of someone else, this horrible situation, this completely violent incident, you're not going to have that opportunity. And it was up to your congressperson to give you that opportunity. The pursuit of freedom, the pursuit of happiness, all of these things are ingrained in what America is about. And little by little, all of that's being taken away from us. And these weapons are becoming more and more lethal. Here where I live, I can't go a day without hearing gunfire. Some of my neighbors have weapons that are totally meant for war environments, and they find it fun to just go out and shoot. I just hope that they're not shooting in my direction. I have a horse. I hope that my horse doesn't get spooked enough and run me over because all of a sudden there's this cannon going off next to me, and I'm not exaggerating. Some of the weaponry that I know that my neighbors have is so incredibly loud. I know what a shotgun sounds like. These are automatic weapons that or semi-automatic weapons that are really meant for war environments. The way that our legislation is right now, it allows civilians to have this kind of weaponry. That's ridiculous. If you want to be able to shoot that kind of weaponry and you want to be able to, feel that feeling, go to an environment where you're safe, your neighbors are safe, everyone is safe. You check in the weaponry when you leave, and that's it. You're not allowed to own this kind of weaponry. You're not allowed to, own weaponry that can take massive amount of people within 12 seconds. I mean, it's just gotten to the point where, our technology has excelled way past what the Second Amendment was intended for or even envisioned. So we have to address our right to bear firearms, to take that into account, and that's what it's about. It's about having those conversations, deciding what's a safe a weapon for our civilians to have, deciding on how to make guns safer. This project, this art installation, is to get that conversation going. There's so many things that can be done, and it's really sad that the people that are in charge of these things have not been responsible enough to step in and make those changes themselves. So the rest of us now, we have to do that. We have to pass this down to our family and the next generations, that yes, we stepped in and we fixed this problem. Something like 30,000 people, being affected by gun violence, and then their loved ones, and it's the numbers are staggering, and I really don't think people realize the magnitude and the impact that it's having on our communities. So basically, the art installation is going to take a trailer just like this one here. This is 24 feet long, about 10 feet high, and basically cover it with a video wall. And it's going to be all of our videos, all of our voices. And, if I'm next, it's going to be people saying to their congressperson, "Hey, I want you to hear my voice. I want to come home." And the videos are going to play. I'm going to take the trailer cross country, get voices from all over the country, and go to schools, go to campuses, go to different cities, and basically collect everybody's voices and take it to our capital and have our legislators hear our voice. And the video wall is similar to what is played like at concerts and outdoor events. A very large video wall, and it's just going to have tons and tons of videos. We can plug into a certain city, a certain state. You can hear your voice. Our congresspeople will hear our voice. Our legislators will hear our voice. The gun lobbyists will hear our voice. The manufacturers will hear our voice. And we're going to make this conversation loud and take back our authority as Americans and say, "I'm sorry, enough is enough. You need to step in, you need to do something." And there's a list of things that, I really want to push for, just the technology that we have now, say our cell phones. You grab a cell phone, our top security experts can't even break into something like an iPhone. Well, we have a lethal weapon that, any child can pick up and take to school and kill somebody. That makes no sense. The technology is advanced to the point now that, you can have a firearm. That firearm is not going to fire unless the owner of the firearm actually has it in their possession. That person is not going to be able to fire it if they don't have proper registration, they don't have proper insurance, whatever it is. It can be disabled by the law enforcement agencies. These firearms, if you go to someplace like a mall or a school or a concert, they have disablers where anybody with smart gun walks in, it's disabled completely in that environment. Firearm is disabled. Law enforcement will have guns that will work in those environments, but we need to take. If we have to have firearms, they need to be smart firearms. They need to be safe firearms, safer firearms, and we need to be able to put people that are not part of the gun community and not in situations that are, where their life can be taken in an instant by somebody that's, found a weapon or stolen a weapon. I mean, this is ridiculous. You have a firearm, somebody breaks into your car and is able to steal it, run down the street and shoot somebody, and take a mother, a father, a child, a whole family, and wipe them out and just keep going. Oh, because they had a bad day, or because they're off their meds, or because they could. And we're giving people those licenses to have that firearm, and we're not requiring that they are responsible for that weapon if it's stolen. Well, I'm sorry, that's not enough. We need to do more. Requiring guns to be kept in safes, requiring insurance, liability insurance. If you're a gun owner, you have to have your license and your insurance. If that weapon is stolen, your insurance is going to step in. They're going to find that gun. They're going to be held. They're going to try to find out where the gun went, who owns the gun. They're going to be responsible for that weapon. You're going to be responsible for that insurance, and just keep hammering it down. Where having a lethal weapon is much more of a responsibility than it is today, and keep hammering at it until we have closed all the loopholes and sealed all the gaps in gun ownership, so that the rest of us can feel safe and our children can come home and can have a bright future without feeling the anxiety and fear of just being in a public environment. So again, this is going to be covered with a video wall, and the videos will be playing. Inside the trailer is going to be this control center that will control all the videos and the audio and all that great stuff. And I'm going to hit the road, and then once we get to the Capitol, assemble it at the Capitol. Like I said, the lobbyists and the gun advocates and all those people can really, hear our voices, start making decisions that will actually make us safer, and start moving this country in another direction as far as gun ownership. So I hope you can support the project. Again, it's If I'm Next, and so basically you're going to download an app on your cell phone and use that to record your voice, your family's voice, and tell your elected officials how you feel about the situation. Add your voice to the conversation. Take back your authority as an American, and make yourself heard.